Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the last episode of the Flavors of Fall. My goodness, it's hard to believe September is over already. It'll soon be time for me to put out the Halloween decorations. I just got the fall wreath out. Anyhow, tonight we're going to be making, Saturday when I'm making this, you'll see it Sunday morning. This afternoon I'm going to be making another fall favorite, and I'm sure most of you have made something similar, but this has got a little bit of a different twist. We're going to make apple crisp. Apple crisp bars, that is. Now, I love apple crisp, and apple crisp is delicious, but you have to eat it with a spoon and a dish with ice cream, whipped cream, or whatever. Well, this is made as a bar. Hello, lunch boxes. And so I'm going to be showing you how to do an apple crisp bar, as apples are certainly a staple in the fall. In New England, of course, we would go to the apple orchards. We don't have apple orchards here in Florida. But we would go to the apple orchards every fall and get the fresh squeezed cider, maybe even get apple cider donuts, and then go pick apples ourselves in the orchard. So it was a lot of fun, and it was regular fall ritual, actually. So today I picked my apples in the grocery store, but I'm going to show you how to make a great apple crisp bars. So let me bring you down to the counter and I'll show you what you're going to need. Be right back. Okay, here we are down at the counter. My oven is preheating to 350. We're going to be using butter, a stick of butter for the first layer. There's 3 layers to this, okay? So with this, if this is kind of soft, I think I'm going to try it. I might have to soften it a little more. 1 stick of butter, room temperature, and 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. We're also going to need vanilla. We'll need some cinnamon. Can't see the cinnamon. We'll need the star of the show, apples. And really and some regular sugar and flour. And that's really about all. So I'm going to get going and we'll get started with the first layer. I prepped my pan over here. This is an 8x8. And I put parchment paper in it. And I have the parchment paper hanging over the edge. And that just means that I'll be able to pick the whole thing up when it's done and put it on a cutting board to cut it into bars. So now I'm going to try using my food processor today. So probably I will have to mute the video when I get to actually putting it on. And we're going to make the bottom layer, and that takes 1 stick of room temperature butter. It takes 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. Let's see here. There. And we're just going to cream that for a little bit. And if it's too noisy when I go to edit this, I will mute this part of the clip. And there goes my oven. To this, I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And that's not even a blurb of vanilla, but here's a new one. Half a teaspoon of vanilla and 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And I always use a butter knife to level off my flour. There's 1 cup. And 1/4 cup. Now, okay. And this is what the consistency looks like, crumbly. And I'm going to dump this in this pan. If I get the paper out of the way. Oh, I don't know what Chelsea's after. I don't think she wants any of this. Now we're going to spread it out cover the bottom. And I'm going to use my cup here to push it in. Now this is going to bake for about 12 to 14 minutes. And while that's baking, and if you look at this, if you look at what we have in here, this is basically a shortbread dough, if you were making shortbread cookies or shortbread whatevers. So I'm going to bake this for about 14 minutes and then we'll get on to the second layer. Back in a bit. Okay, while that's cooking, it's got about another 4 minutes. We'll get the second layer ready to roll. I'm peeling apples. Calls for 4 cups of apples. And I have a 4-cup measuring cup right here. And I have to tell you a little story. When I was growing up, my mother used to challenge, oh, I'm sure she challenged my sisters too, to see who could peel an apple without this breaking the row of skin. Peel. You think who could get all the way to the bottom without it breaking? I never made it. Probably never got past halfway. But if you stop and think of it, it was a pretty clever way to get help peeling the apples, wasn't it? So we go round and round. Because they have these machines that do this for you now. And if I still lived in New England and, well, look at that, I almost did. And had apples as much as we did when we lived up there, I might invest in them. But it's not quite as prevalent here. Got some seeds. Left a little of the core in on that one. There we go. Well, can't get any more than that 4-cup measure. That about does it. Get this out of the way. And let me just empty this bowl. Because I'm going to mix the apples in it. Alright, so in the apples, we're going to have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Now it doesn't call for any cinnamon in this layer, but I'm going to add a little because we like cinnamon. So I'm adding a little bit of cinnamon to it. Alright, I'm going to check on my... Oh, that was good timing. And that's another song. We have all kinds of music. Okay, put that on the hot pad. And you can see it's just lightly browned. Don't touch it with your hand, Donna. That would be a very dumb thing to do. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to put all of these in here now. It says to arrange them, but seeing as this pan is so hot, you really can't put your fingers in there. So I'm just going to kind of spread them out as best I can. All right, one more step. Now we're coming back to the food processor, and I'm going to use a topping, a half a cup of light brown sugar, let me put my blade in. And of course those apples are going to all cook down. A quarter cup of granulated sugar. Three-quarters of a cup of all-purpose flour. Quarter cup's getting the workout. One, two, three. One teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and I'm just going to eyeball that. A half a teaspoon of salt. And 6 tablespoons of chilled butter. I'm getting it out of the freezer. I wanted to make sure it was nice and chilled. 3, 4, 5, 6. And there is a side that opens. Here we are. And you can do this with just a pastry blender or 2 forks. So now I'm going to pulse this until it's crumbly. Alrighty. You see crumbly? Well, it's a good thing I got this parchment paper. It's going to help hold the stuff in there. But like I said, those apples will all cook down. All right, it's going back in the oven. And let me see, for how long? It's going back in the oven for about 45 minutes. I'm going to check it around 30 and see what it's looking like. And I will bring you back when we're done. Back in a bit. Okay, so here we are. It's a little bit of stretch of the imagination, and I'm going to be able to cut bars out of this. And that's my fault because I tried to take it out of the pan before it had a chance to cool enough and it started to break apart. But I'm going to see what I can get here. I've let it cool. Oh, look at this. I've let it cool about a good hour or so, and it's still quite warm actually. But look, it is a bar. And if it had a chance to cool a little more, look at that. I'll give you a taste test. Hold on. Here we are. This really looks good. Oh wow, that's very good. Can you see there's a that shortbread crust on the bottom here? Delicious. And you know, once that's refrigerated for a while, that will make a perfect bar. Look at it, cut quite nicely, even now. So there you go. Apple crisp bars. You'll enjoy it. And you know what? It's plenty sweet. If I were going to do any... Okay, I hope you got the taste test. I'm not going to test it again because I haven't had dinner. I don't want to eat dessert before I eat dinner. But anyway, it makes a nice bar. Look at that. I'm impressed. As I started to say, my battery died, so I ended mid-sentence. But I'm plugged in now. If I were going to do anything differently, I might add a little bit more cinnamon or even add some apple pie spice to the apple mixture and just give it a little bit more apple pie flavor, but it's absolutely delicious. So give it a try. Look at this. Yummy, yummy. All right, let's come up and give a couple of parting words. Okay, so that's the last of our fall Flavors of Fall series. And in the month of October, I'm looking at some side dishes because it's time to think about side dishes to go with our holiday meals. And I've got a few that I think sound kind of interesting. And so I hope you'll stop by next Sunday when we begin that series. Until then, I hope you've had a great September, and now that it is fall, have enjoyed the flavors of fall. If you like this one, and you will like this one, give it a thumbs up, and share, or subscribe, hit the bell. If you're just here for the first time, thanks so much for stopping by. And if you're one of my regulars, I love you all. And thanks for stopping in again. I'll see you again Tuesday. Until then, have a great Sunday. Keep safe. Keep your distance. Play by the rules. Wear your mask. And everybody play nice now. I love you. Bye-bye.